Okay guys, real quick, I released a video a couple days ago that was my home tour and channel trailer, and inevitably, because I do one take of all these videos, I sometimes leave stuff out. I just don't believe in cutting a lot of stuff and then reinserting. So I wanted to do this little addendum, but also it's going to be a lot longer from the standpoint of what I wanted to do is two things. Number one, I wanted to give you music clips in my room with the GR Research NXtremes. Also, when I normally listen, I listen in the dark, so it's not as ugly as it seems in that tour once I play normally in the dark. But also to give you a flavor of what my room sounds like now. I realized I haven't done any music clips in my room pretty much all year. I've had so much other content that I haven't focused on my own system. And actually, since the Bacch has been installed, I haven't really put out anything because, not intentionally, but when you record on a cell phone and my system is now calibrated for in-ear measurements with the Bacch, I could turn it off, but, this is going to serve twofold purpose. Number one, you're going to hear the quality of the system with the Bacch, even if the mic from the camera phone is not 2 ears and calibrated for it. It's going to answer a frequently asked question of mine is, hey, if I'm off axis or I'm not calibrated, is it going to sound all weird and phasey and bad? And you're going to hear, because for yourself, it doesn't. In fact, off axis, it sounds like any other speaker off axis for the most part. But it actually will be better. Even with the cell phone recording, I think you're going to notice a benefit because Edgar doesn't tout this with the Bacch, but one of the side benefits that you get is better timing at your listening position. So things like comb filtering and even certain reflections, the Bacch actually cures those. So you get a better performance from your gear even outside of those spatial cues that obviously this YouTube video can't show you all of those, but I'm picking a couple twofold purpose of doing this. I'm picking a recording, number one, that's a YouTube recording that I featured in the past on my DVD player. Now I'm going to play it on YouTube to show you how good it sounds with Bacch and the YouTube. And then also I'm going to play a song that I often have people come in here and say, that's the best I've ever heard that song. And I played it recently for both Pete and Doug. So I want to see, they were here live. They can now listen to this YouTube and see how much of the goodness translates. And you can also chime in as well. And then I throw in a bonus track, Sophie Zelmani, Oh Dear, which you've heard many times on various systems. In fact, just recently, it was in the monitor audio video from the Audiophile Live that I put out. And I'm sure the speakers are great, but the room, and it didn't sound as good as I think you're going to hear in this. And it showcases one of the tenets that I brought up in that tour. Your room and setup make all the difference of whether you're going to get the potential of your gear or not. So I just wanted to give you that heads up. But the other thing I left out of that tour was my server. I forgot that I didn't talk about this, which I build my own servers. But this kind of, probably subliminally, I didn't want to talk about it because this is not something I do for others, only on bespoke, one-off, kind of cost no object builds. But in general, I wanted to give you, I have videos on it, but just a few tips, though, for your own choice. Because the reason I got into it, quite frankly, is all these audiophile servers are just a charade. I mean, when you look under the hood, the three things that I find problematic. Number one, they power it with linear power supplies that are mostly made in Canada. I've had some of them tested. They aren't suitable for powering a motherboard under the basic metrics. No ATX certification standards, no other standards that are normal. A high-end Corsair switch mode power supply is better than most of those linear power supplies. And if you think you're getting rid of switching noise by using a linear power supply, don't fall for that either. The motherboard actually has a PWM on it to regulate the voltage to different components that it powers. So your only real way to kind of get linear benefits, what I do here is I have a USB card separate and I power that with a linear power supply. But people can A/B the difference. This is kind of my test bench. I just made it look cool, but it's open air, allows me to easily change stuff. And I've got all of the things, the SOTM cards, the intonas, the uptone regens. I've got them all. I can try them and see if they work or not. I've tried them all. So, but one of the things that's also overlooked real quick is heat dissipation. I mean, I just saw another company's coming out with their server and they were showcasing this overdone fanless. Now, to their credit, they're using Noctua. They're probably going to scratch out the name and put their own little badge on it, but it's just an off-the-shelf heatsink. It looks impressive, but the real key is how you implement that cooling. What ends up happening is they put these processors, usually not even a good processor, and they put it in a confined chassis. Sometimes they don't even have heat pipes going to the heatsink fins, believe it or not. It's just for show. It's just a modified amplifier chassis that they put it in. And they run hot, and inevitably, I can go on any day of the forums and you'll find somebody, I'm having trouble with Rune, I'm having trouble with my server, it only lasted 2 years, all this stuff. Could be a wide variety of factors, but one of them not to overlook is heat. And being processors and RAM will throttle themselves in most PCs if they aren't operating at the proper temperature. And that's what causes some of these issues that you read about. But also, capacitors have ratings for certain temperatures. And I guarantee you a lot of these servers in those tight chassis where they pack everything in, no way to dissipate heat quickly, those are running over that temperature that the caps are rated at. So anyway, what I believe in and know for a fact increases performance doesn't always translate to audibility per se, but reliability and other factors are part of performance metrics. But I run kind of a quasi-fanless system. It's basically idle. You can't hear any fans running. But if the temperature were ever to increase above a certain threshold, it will immediately kick up the RPMs in the fans to keep the processor, RAM, everything, the motherboard, running at optimal temperatures. That's far more important than worrying about fan noise. The other thing that these companies talk about is, we don't give video capabilities because that's going to add noise. Well, joke's on them, because they put an LED display on the front of almost all of their servers, and guess what? That's powered by their motherboard on top of that. With a fanless video card, you can export through HDMI to your projector and get YouTube video content like I'm about to show you. So again, there's a lot of charades in this hobby of the server realm. That's why I build my own. It's not something I do on the mass basis, but if you do want to reach out, have something like this done. I've done them in dinosaur bone chassis, some crazy stuff. Best to join the membership section to get more details on that, or send me an email. Without further ado, though, enjoy these music clips on the GR Research NXtreme.
Our bodies are hurting like hell. They promise to never leave us alone. Our hearts are breaking like bones. Picking stars like apples from the sky, threatening to throw them in the sea, so we won't have anything to gaze upon. What happened to liberty and the bridges we almost got done? What happened to that? What's going to take us home? Dreams are breaking like glass. but faith is hard like stone. Sometimes so hard to see. When I lay down and forget this, you need to be telling me. What happened to liberty and the bridges we almost got done? What happened to that? What's going to take us home? What happened to liberty and the bridges we almost got done? What happened to that? What's going to take us home?
you ever go out? When was the last time you were out? waiting here? How long have you held your breath? Oh dear. What is closing you in? Must be a giant dream. It's not your life we're seeing. Oh dear. Don't let your choices be hopes you still can't feel. All was given for free, my dear.
I'm trying to hold my breath. Let it stay this way. Can't let this moment end. You set off a dream in me, getting louder now. Can you